There is a moment most people walk straight past without ever noticing it. It does not arrive with a notification. It does not come with a celebration. It is just a number on a banking app that quietly crosses an invisible line. And the second that number crosses that line, the way money behaves around you changes completely. Not because you got smarter, not because you got a raise, because you crossed a threshold almost nobody ever points out to you. My name is Chris, and I study how money actually behaves at every single income level. Not just the headlines about billionaires. If you want to know exactly where you stand on the wealth map right now and what changes the moment you cross to the next level, subscribe and hit the like button. Here is something most people get wrong about building wealth. They picture it as a ramp. Earn a little more, save a little more, climb a little higher every single year. That is not how it actually works. Get crazy. Wealth moves in steps. You spend long stretches on a flat plateau where absolutely nothing seems to change. Then you cross one specific number and the entire game shifts under your feet. There are 4 of these numbers: $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, and $5 million. Each one quietly rewrites your relationship with risk, with banks, and with your own mind. The dollar amount almost never matters as much as what that dollar amount unlocks. To make this real, let us follow one person through all 4 levels. We will call him Derek. Derek is 29 years old. He works in sales, makes a normal salary, nothing special, and has about $2,000 to his name. Derek is not lazy. Derek is not bad with money. Derek simply does not know the map yet. By the end of this video, you will know it better than he does right now. And more importantly, you will know exactly where you are standing on it today. The first reset lands at $100,000. Before you reach 6 figures, your savings are doing nearly all of the work. Your money itself contributes almost nothing yet. Watch the actual math here. If Derek has $5,000 sitting in an account earning 7% in a year, that is about $350. That will not change his life. It will barely cover one bad month. At this stage, the only lever that matters is how much Derek saves, not how his money performs. But something shifts once the balance crosses $100,000. At that same normal 7% return, the balance alone now produces roughly $7,000 in a single year, with no extra effort from Derek at all. That is close to what many people earn from months of overtime generated quietly in the background. Instead, the dollars stop being passive and start pulling their own weight. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's longtime business partner, said something worth remembering here. He pointed out that the first $100,000 is brutally hard for almost everyone to reach. He also said that once you get there, the climb genuinely gets easier. The reason is not luck, it is math. Compounding needs a real base before it produces a real result. There is also a psychological side to this first level that almost nobody talks about. Researchers who study financial stress describe something called scarcity. It is the idea that when your mind is constantly occupied with not having enough, you have less mental bandwidth left over for everything else. Big decisions start feeling exhausting. Small emergencies start feeling like disasters. This is not a character flaw. It is simply what a stressed brain does when there is no buffer underneath it. The first $100,000 is not just a financial wall. It is the thing that finally quiets that background noise. This is also why so many people quit right here. The middle of this climb is the longest, flattest, most boring stretch of the entire journey. There's no visible reward for months at a time. Derek hits this exact wall around $35,000. His balance has not moved much in what feels like forever. Like his friends are buying new cars and posting vacations. He starts asking himself what the point even is. This is the moment that decides everything. Most people cash out here. They buy the truck. They take the trip they cannot afford. They tell themselves they will start again next year, and the clock quietly resets back towards zero. Derek does not quit, but only barely. What keeps him going is not motivation, it is a system. He set up an automatic transfer the day he got serious about this, moving money out of his checking account before he ever has the chance to spend it. He does not rely on willpower because willpower runs out. He relies on a transfer he barely even notices anymore. The reset at this level has nothing to do with luxury, it is proof. Proof that the system genuinely works even when nobody is clapping for you yet. If your employer offers any kind of matching contribution on a retirement account, this is the level where capturing that match matters most because it is the closest thing to free money you will ever be offered. The one move that matters here is simple: automate the saving so it happens whether you feel motivated or not, then stay out of your own way. The second reset lands at $500,000. This is the level almost nobody talks about because it does not come with a flashy headline, but it is where freedom starts whispering to you for the first time. Using the well-known 4% withdrawal guideline, $500,000 invested can generate about $20,000 a year without touching the original balance. For most households, that is not enough to walk away from work entirely, but it is enough to change how work feels. Derek reaches this level in his early 40s. He notices the shift first at work, not in his bank account. When his manager asks him to take on a thankless project with no extra pay, Derek says no for the first time in his career. Nothing dramatic happens. He does not get fired. He simply realizes the fear that used to control those conversations is gone. This is the level where people start negotiating harder because they no longer need the job. They are choosing it. It is also where banks and lenders start paying attention to you in a different way. Better credit offers, lower interest rates, friendlier voice on the phone. None of that is a coincidence. You simply stop looking like a risk to them. Now, the system is not being kind to you out of nowhere. It is simply pricing you correctly for the first time. The danger at this level is patience, not chaos. The jump from $100,000 to $500,000 takes years of contributions that feel completely uneventful. There is no dramatic before and after photo for this stretch. Psychologists call part of this hedonic adaptation, which is a fancy way of saying that whatever income you get used to quickly starts to feel normal, no matter how high it climbs. Derek gets a raise during this stretch and almost upgrades his apartment to match it. He catches himself just in time. Instead, he keeps his expenses flat and lets the raise flow straight into his investments. That single decision adds years to his timeline in the right direction. The people who make it through this level are not the ones with the highest income. They are the ones who kept feeding the same account through years of nothing visibly happening, while everyone around them was busy spending their own raises before they ever had the chance to compound. The third reset lands at $1 million. $1 million does not make you rich. What it actually makes you is optional. Here is the math behind that claim. At a 4% withdrawal rate, $1 million invested can produce about $40,000 a year indefinitely without you working another day. For a large number of households, that number alone covers a real, livable lifestyle. Derek is not there yet, but he can finally see it from where he stands, and that visibility alone changes how he makes decisions today. Bill Bengen created the 4% guideline decades ago. He has since suggested that current conditions might actually support a higher number, somewhere closer to 4.5% or even 5%. At 5%, that same $1 million produces $50,000 a year instead. Either way, the core idea stays the same. At this level, your money can finally produce a real salary on its own. But here is the warning that matters more than any of that math. The biggest threat to $1 million portfolio is rarely the market. It is the person who owns it, panicking during a downturn and selling at the worst possible moment. There is a well-documented bias in behavioral economics called loss aversion. It means the pain of losing money hits people roughly twice as hard, psychologically, as the pleasure of gaining the same amount. That imbalance is exactly why downturns feel so much more dangerous than they actually are. Markets always recover eventually. People who sell out of fear are the ones who turn a temporary dip into a permanent loss. What this level actually buys you is not a mansion or a sports car. It buys you the right to say no to a job you have outgrown, to a boss who does not respect your time, to unpaid overtime you used to accept out of fear, to a version of your life you no longer want to live. Some people use this level to quit entirely. Most people simply use it to finally breathe. The fourth and final reset lands at $5 million. For decades, $1 million was the cultural shorthand for being rich. That definition is quietly out of date. People are living longer in retirement than previous generations did, and the cost of staying comfortable keeps climbing every year. Because of that, many financial planners now point to $5 million as the figure that actually buys lasting security, not just survival. At a 4% withdrawal, $5 million produces about $200,000 a year. That is not survival money. That is comfortable spending generated entirely by your assets year after year without ever touching the original balance. The reset here is mostly psychological rather than financial. Below this level, people generally think in terms of replacing their own salary. Above it, the question quietly changes. It stops being about whether you personally will be fine. It starts being about what you want this money to build after you're gone. Reaching this level on salary and savings alone is genuinely rare, and it is important to be honest about that instead of pretending otherwise. Like, most people who get here have an ownership stake in something, a business they built, equity they were granted, property that appreciated significantly, or 3 decades or more of uninterrupted compounding behind them. This is also where lifestyle creep becomes the real enemy. Someone sitting on $5 million who inflates their spending to match it can end up with less actual freedom than someone holding 1 million who lives simply and sleeps well at night. More money does not automatically buy more freedom. How you choose to hold it is what actually decides that. Before we go any further, let us be honest about something. A lot of people watching this are not starting at zero. They are starting below zero, with debt sitting where savings should be. If that describes you, here is the order that actually works. High interest debt, especially credit cards charging 20% or more, behaves like a guaranteed negative return on your money. Paying that down first is not a detour from level 1. It is level 1. Once that debt is gone, the exact same money you were losing to interest payments can finally start moving toward your own future instead. And what about timing? What if you feel like you are starting too late? Here is the actual math, not the fear talking. Saving $500 a month at a 7% average return for 40 years grows into roughly $1.3 million. The exact same $500 a month for 30 years grows into roughly $610,000. For 20 years, it grows into roughly $260,000. Notice something important in those numbers. Every single one of those outcomes is still genuinely life-changing. Starting 10 years later does not erase the climb. It simply means the first reset matters even more because there is less time left for a long plateau to drag on. The worst possible move here is not starting late. The worst possible move is deciding it is pointless and never starting at all. Now step back and look at all 4 levels together because there is a pattern hiding underneath the numbers. Each level is really a different enemy in disguise. At the bottom, the enemy is chaos and instability. In the middle, the enemy is patience, since the plateau drags on far longer than people expect. Near the top, the enemy becomes your own panic during a crisis. At the very top, the enemy becomes your own appetite for more. Notice the shape of that list. At the bottom, the battle is almost entirely financial. By the top, the battle is almost entirely emotional. The richer you get, the more the real fight moves out of your bank account and into your own head. That is the real lesson hiding inside these 4 numbers. The financial battle gets easier the higher you climb. The emotional battle gets harder. The people who actually make it to level 4 are rarely the ones who earn the most money. They are simply the ones who refuse to quit during the boring middle of every single level. As for Derek, he is not at the top yet. He is somewhere past the 2nd level, quietly working toward the 3rd, still saving on an ordinary salary, still occasionally tempted to upgrade something he does not need. He is not a guru. He is not a success story you would see on a billboard. He is just a normal person who decided to learn the map instead of guessing his way up it. That is genuinely all this takes. Before you go, here is one practical move for each level, because none of this matters without action behind it. At level 1, automate your savings and attack any high interest debt first, before anything else. At level 2, protect your savings rate every single time you get a raise instead of letting your lifestyle quietly absorb it. At level 3, write down your own plan for a market crash before one ever actually happens, so panic never gets to make that decision for you. At level 4, decide in advance what enough genuinely looks like before more money quietly redefines it for you without asking. So here is the honest question worth asking yourself right now. Forget someone else's highlight reel online. Forget the guru promising you a shortcut. Picture your real number today with no rounding up and find it on this map. That single moment of honesty is genuinely where every climb begins. If this video showed you something about your own money that you had not considered before, subscribe to the channel and share it with one friend who needs to hear it. And if you want to understand exactly what you are risking before chasing the next big opportunity, go watch our previous video, SpaceX IPO, The Brutal Truth Before You Invest, right after this one. Because the most useful financial decision you can make today is not picking a hot stock. It is simply being honest about which one of these 4 levels you are actually standing on right now.